Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters, did you know that some of the pennies in your pocket change could be worth a fortune? Today, we're diving into the top high-value wheat pennies that could be worth millions of dollars. Stick around to see if you have one of these rare coins hiding in your collection.
First up, we have the 1946 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny. This coin is part of the iconic Lincoln Wheat Penny series, which was minted from 1909 to 1958. What makes this specific 1946 penny especially noteworthy is its large date variety, and more intriguingly, its value in today's auction market even in less than perfect condition. Let's start with some historical context. The Lincoln Wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse features a bust of President Lincoln, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The reverse shows two stalks of wheat, symbolizing the country's agricultural roots, and the phrase, 1 cent. This design remained in circulation until 1958 when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse, which you may be more familiar with. Now, when we fast forward to 1946, the country was recovering from the aftermath of World War II, a time of economic growth and change. The coin itself, while not particularly rare in terms of mintage, holds tremendous significance for collectors today, especially when we look at certain variations like the large date variety. The 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted in large quantities, with over 1 billion coins produced. However, what sets the large date version apart is its noticeable difference in the size of the numbers in the date, specifically the 4 and 6. The large date is believed to have been caused by a different die being used, which resulted in these larger digits being struck on the coin. Now, when we discuss the market value of the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny, it's important to note that the condition of the coin greatly affects its price. This particular penny, in a dirty, rusty, and well-worn condition, might not fetch top dollar, but it still holds value due to its rarity and desirability among collectors. A penny like this, in its current dirty or rusty condition, might seem far from appealing to most casual collectors. But, believe it or not, it still holds market value, especially when you consider that some collectors are willing to pay for coins with unique aging or wear patterns that tell a story of time past. In today's auction market, this coin could range from $59,000 depending on specific characteristics, such as the level of corrosion, its wear patterns, and how prominent the large date is. The 1946 large date no mint mark penny has a mintage of around 1 billion, which may seem high, but this doesn't diminish its appeal. Even in worn, rusty conditions, collectors appreciate the story behind each coin and its role in U.S. numismatic history. Its relatively low cost is the reason why many collectors strive to own one, not just for investment, but for the historical significance it carries. Collectors often seek these pennies not only because of their age, but also due to the appeal of the wheat design, which many believe signifies the strength of America's agricultural and economic past. Despite its wear and tear, the coin's distinct look in its worn form gives it a level of uniqueness that attracts a niche segment of collectors looking to own a piece of history. The design, as we mentioned before, was created by Brenner and features Lincoln's portrait on the front. But there are other important design elements to note. The reverse of the coin displays two sheaves of wheat with E pluribus unum. Across the top, a motto adopted from the Great Seal of the United States. As mentioned, this coin's large date variation comes from the size difference between the numbers 4 and 6, and collectors often seek out these subtle differences to complete their sets. It is also important to mention that this penny, even in its dirty and rusty condition, has something collectors call character. This could include natural toning or a unique oxidation pattern that could influence its final value. So while a mint condition coin of this variety can go for a higher price, even one in poor condition still retains value for those who appreciate the history and rarity it represents. What's most interesting about the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny, especially in its worn condition, is the level of interest among coin collectors. Many collectors specialize in problem coins, which are coins that show signs of corrosion, rust, or wear, but still hold historical or monetary value. A coin like this could easily find its way into a collection, as many enthusiasts are drawn to the authenticity and unique characteristics found in worn pennies. Next up, the 1951 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny, specifically the large date with the S mint mark, holds a significant place in the history of U.S. coinage. Struck by the U.S. Mint in San Francisco, this penny is part of the larger Lincoln Wheat cent series, which was minted from 1909 to 1958. During the early 20th century, the penny was a symbol of national pride, and the image of Abraham Lincoln gracing the front has become one of the most recognizable coin designs in U.S. history. In 1951, the U.S. Mint made a notable change in its penny production by introducing the large date variety, which was only issued in the later part of the year. While the coin may seem like just another penny, the 1951 large date with the S mint mark in circulated condition has become incredibly rare over the years, making it a sought-after piece by collectors and investors alike. So let's take a closer look at the coin's design, mintage, and the reasons why it commands such high prices at auction today. The 1951 large date variant features bold numbers with a wider spacing between the digits. This differentiates it from the 1951 small date, which was produced earlier in the year. The distinctively large numbers are one of the key features that collectors look for when identifying this rare variety. The S mint mark is located just below the date, indicating that this coin was minted at the San Francisco Mint. The mint mark is an essential feature that can affect the coin's value, as coins minted in smaller quantities or in specific mints are often more valuable due to their rarity. The 1951 S Lincoln Wheat penny was minted in relatively high numbers compared to some other rare pennies. In total, the San Francisco Mint produced approximately 29,195,000 of these coins. However, as with any coin, the condition and quality of the coin play a massive role in its value. When it comes to circulated condition, the value of the 1951 S large date Lincoln penny can vary based on the degree of wear and the overall quality of the coin. In a fine or very fine condition, these coins can fetch anywhere from $9,000 at auction. However, in uncirculated or higher grades, where the coin retains much of its original luster and fine detail, its value can skyrocket. The value of a 1951 S large date Lincoln penny in MS 63, mint state 63, can reach up to $13,000 or more at auction. The highest auction price ever recorded for a 1951 S large date. Lincoln penny was for an MS 65 example, which sold for an impressive $15,000. This shows how condition can dramatically impact the value of a seemingly modest coin. Collectors and investors have also taken note of the fact that the 1951 S large date penny is one of the last of the Wheat series before the transition to the Lincoln Memorial Cent in 1959. This makes it a popular choice for those wanting to complete their collection of Lincoln Wheat pennies. Another reason for the 1951 S large date penny's high value is its status as an error coin in certain cases. There are a few variations of this coin that include subtle minting errors or anomalies that increase its rarity and value. For example, some 1951 S large date pennies show doubled dies, where certain elements of the coin, like the date or lettering, appear to have been struck more than once. This creates a double image effect that is highly desirable among collectors. Finding one of these examples could increase the value of the coin to several $100s, depending on the quality and visibility of the error. Additionally, there are die cracks and die clashes that can sometimes appear on these coins, further increasing their appeal. Such features make these coins stand out as unique pieces in any collection, and they tend to command higher prices at auctions. The coin's scarcity, particularly in high grades, has made it a hot commodity in the market. The increasing interest in coin collecting, combined with the growing awareness of rare and valuable pennies like this one, has helped fuel demand for the 1951 S large date. Auction prices have been consistently high in recent years, and the coin continues to attract collectors who value its historical and aesthetic significance. The demand for high-grade, error-free 1951 S large date pennies shows no signs of slowing down, making this coin a wise investment for those looking to expand their collection or capitalize on the thriving coin market. Next, we have the 1945 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny, another classic piece from the same series. But this one has something special about it. This one is in much better condition, which makes it even more exciting for coin collectors and investors alike. Let's start with the historical context again. The 1920s were a period of rapid change in the United States. The Great Depression was still years away, and the country was in the midst of a booming economy. The 1945 penny, minted as part of the ongoing Lincoln Wheat series, features the same design as the other coins in the series, but with some distinct differences. The coin's obverse displays Lincoln's bust, while the reverse features the iconic wheat stalks. But what makes this coin particularly valuable is its year of issue and the condition it has been preserved in. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny had a relatively moderate mintage, but it's the quality of the coin and the presence of a few rarer characteristics that make it worth more than other pennies from this era. In total, about 100,001,945 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, meaning it isn't extremely rare. However, what makes it valuable today is its condition and specific features that set it apart. Coins in very good condition, like the one we have here, are much less common than those that have been heavily circulated. Coins like this one in very good condition can range from $66,000 to several $100s in the auction market, depending on the level of preservation. While this isn't the most valuable penny in the Lincoln Wheat series, it is still considered a sought-after coin for collectors of all experience levels. Its market value could skyrocket if it's a rare variety or if there's a specific error that appeals to niche collectors. The design of the 1945 penny is quite similar to other wheat pennies, with the only major difference being its age and the level of preservation. It still features Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and two stalks of wheat on the reverse, but collectors often look for subtle details such as die varieties, the condition of the design, and even small errors in minting. For example, one of the more common errors on the 1945 pennies is the misalignment of the design, which could lead to a slightly off-center strike. These errors make the coin even more valuable to those who specialize in error coins. Coins in very good condition, such as this one, are usually clean and have minimal wear. The Lincoln portrait should still be easily recognizable, and the wheat design on the reverse should show good detail. The overall color should be a rich copper tone, which is typical of these coins when in good condition. Next up, the 1955 Lincoln Wheat. Penny holds an equally intriguing position in the world of numismatics, especially the large date with the D mint mark. This coin was part of the Lincoln Wheat cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958, and it carries its own unique set of historical and market-related factors. In 1955, the U.S. Mint continued its efforts to provide a strong symbol of the nation's heritage through coinage. As with the 1951 penny, the 1955 Lincoln penny also carried the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the wheat stalks on the reverse, honoring the agricultural legacy of the United States. While the 1955 penny was struck in large quantities, it is the large date with the D mint mark variety that stands out, due to the distinct size of the date digits and the mint mark. Coins minted in Denver. D mint mark often have their own appeal, as the Denver Mint produced lower quantities of certain coins, making them rarer and more valuable than their counterparts from other mints. The 1955 Lincoln Wheat penny features the well-known design by Victor David Brenner, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front. The reverse features two stalks of wheat, continuing the agricultural theme that was synonymous with the Lincoln cent series. As with the 1951 coin, the large date variety stands out because of the bold, spaced-out digits of the year. These large numbers were the result of a change made later in the year, and they became a distinguishing factor of this specific type of penny. The D mint mark located just beneath the date identifies the coin as having been struck at the Denver Mint. The 1955 D Lincoln Wheat penny was produced in significant numbers with a total mintage of 278,170,000. However, in circulated condition, the value remains modest, typically ranging from $2 to $6 depending on wear and overall condition. Like the 1951 S large date penny, the value of the 1955 D large date increases considerably when in uncirculated condition, especially if the coin shows minimal signs of wear. A high-grade MS-63 example might fetch anywhere between $30,000. But the real star of the 1955 D Lincoln penny is its error variety, which has made the coin truly famous in the world of numismatics. The 1955 double-die obverse penny, a variation that resulted from a striking error where the dies were misaligned, has gained widespread attention and high market value. The 1955 double-die penny features a strong doubling of the date and lettering, which is easily noticeable to the naked eye. This error coin is one of the most famous and valuable coins in the history of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series. It has been known to sell for over $20,000 in high grades, depending on the quality and condition. The 1955 D large date penny in circulated condition typically does not have the same level of demand as its double-die counterpart. However, it remains a solid piece for collectors who appreciate its historical value and the importance of the Lincoln Cent series. That's all for today's deep dive into two of the most valuable United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat pennies, the 1951 S large date penny and the 1955 D large date penny. These coins are not just currency, they're pieces of history, and for collectors, they represent both an investment and a treasure trove of American culture. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming coin breakdowns. Do you have either of these pennies in your collection? Or maybe you've come across one of these rare error varieties. Let us know in the comments below. The next coin on our list is the 1939 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny. While it may seem like a regular coin at first glance, when we take a closer look, we uncover the factors that make this particular coin extraordinarily valuable. Let's dive into its history and what sets this coin apart from the thousands of other pennies minted in the same year. The 1939 Lincoln Wheat penny is part of the series that was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. This coin has a deep historical significance, honoring the United States' 16th president, a symbol of unity and strength during one of the most turbulent periods in American history, the Civil War. In 1939, the U.S. Mint produced over 684 million Lincoln Wheat pennies. While this might seem like a large number, the key to the coin's value is not its mintage, but rather specific characteristics and errors found in certain coins from that year. For the 1939 large date variety, the minting process led to subtle but important distinctions that collectors pay a premium for today. The 1939 large date is the more commonly known variety of this year. Its design is similar to all the wheat pennies in circulation from 1909 through 1958, featuring the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two stalks of wheat on the reverse. However, the subtle difference between the large date and small date versions of this coin comes down to the shape and spacing of the numerals in the date. The large date variety is characterized by the 9 and 3 in the year being more pronounced and wider than their small date counterparts. Though this may seem like a small detail, it plays a significant role in the coin's value, as collectors are very particular about these distinctions. But what really makes this particular coin stand out is its condition. A 1939 Lincoln Wheat penny in fine condition is typically valued much higher than a coin in lesser grades. The fine condition classification indicates that the coin has moderate wear, but the details of Lincoln's portrait, the date, and the wheat stalks are still discernible, which makes it more attractive to collectors. As of today, a 1939 Lincoln Wheat penny in fine condition can command a significant sum in today's auction market. While coins of this era are relatively common, the large date variety, especially in good condition, tends to draw the attention of serious collectors. Based on recent auction data, a 1939 large date without a mint mark can fetch anywhere from $25,000 to $32,000 depending on the specific grade and demand. In the higher-end market, particularly for coins with exceptional eye appeal, the value can exceed these figures. The overall value of these coins is also influenced by factors such as rarity, overall demand, and historical significance. While the 1939 large date isn't the rarest coin in the series, its quality and condition can significantly impact its auction price. Some coins have been known to sell for as much as $49,000 or even more if they're graded as extremely fine or higher, especially with mint errors like a doubled die or other rare flaws. The 1939 Lincoln Wheat penny is incredibly popular among collectors due to its design and historical relevance. It's one of the more widely collected pennies from the late 1930s, and its status as part of the iconic Lincoln Wheat penny series only adds to its appeal. Collectors who focus on this era tend to be interested in various factors such as the minting process, die varieties, and the coin's overall condition. For instance, a 1939 penny in uncirculated condition can be highly sought after, while those with unique mint errors can draw attention for their rarity and the opportunity they present for serious numismatists. The 1939 large date is an excellent coin for both beginner and advanced collectors, and if you're lucky enough to find one in your collection or through an auction, you're in for a treat. Next up, to truly appreciate the value of a 1937 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny, we need to first take a step back in time to understand its historical context. The year 1937 falls within the midst of the Great Depression, a period of significant economic turmoil that affected not only the United States but much of the world. The U.S. Mint, despite the difficult times, continued to produce the penny, which at the time was used widely for everyday transactions. In fact, pennies in the 1930s were often seen as the building blocks of small businesses and were essential in daily exchanges. As a result of the Depression, many coins during this era, including the 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny, were struck in relatively large quantities, making them less rare at first glance. However, the condition, unique features, and certain errors found in these coins have made them highly collectible and valuable to enthusiasts. Now let's discuss the mintage and market value of the 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark. In 1937, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies, specifically about 1.1 billion Lincoln Wheat pennies in total for circulation that year. However, it's important to note that the specific number of coins produced with and without a mint mark varies. This particular coin, the 1937 Lincoln penny without mint mark, is notable because it does not bear any mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The lack of a mint mark actually adds a unique aspect to the coin because it can be harder to find in pristine condition compared to other variations produced in different mints during the same year. While the 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny is not as rare as some other coins from the era, its value is driven largely by its condition and the collector market. Coins in poor condition, such as those found with dirt wear or tarnishing, are typically valued much lower than well-preserved examples. But even in a dirty condition, the 1937 penny can have a significant market value. So what does this mean for its value today? The value of a 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny without mint mark in red color, dirty condition, can still vary widely depending on the specifics of its state, collector demand, and any auction interest. At auction, depending on the degree of dirt or wear, this penny can fetch anywhere from $10,000. But for coins that have been particularly well preserved despite their dirty appearance, or those with some form of rare characteristic like unique wear patterns, the value could easily jump to higher figures, even reaching $16,000 or more in some cases. In a red color, the coin should have a smooth, coppery look with the natural reddish tint of copper. However, due to its dirty condition, this coin likely exhibits a more tarnished appearance, which can affect its value to a degree. Dirt oxidation or wear can obscure some of the fine details of the design, making this particular coin less desirable to some collectors. Nonetheless, it still has historical value and is a favorite for those who collect coins with imperfections. While the 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny is known for being widely circulated, some collectors seek out specific error coins, and this particular year has its own share of possible errors. Common errors seen in coins from this era include doubled dies, off-center strikes, and die cracks. Though not particularly rare in the 1937 series, some of these errors can significantly increase a coin's market value. For example, if the 1937 penny you come across has a noticeable doubled die on the obverse where Lincoln's features or the date appears more than once, that could make it more valuable than a standard coin of the same year. Similarly, if the penny has an off-center strike where the design is improperly aligned, collectors would find it appealing. For a coin in dirty condition, these types of errors become even more valuable due to the potential for the flaws to remain hidden. When an error coin is discovered in such a state, it can create substantial interest in the numismatic market. Collector interest in the 1937 Lincoln Wheat. Penny is relatively high even for pennies in dirty condition. Many collectors of Lincoln pennies focus on building complete sets, and owning a 1937 without mint mark is often a part of that set. As time goes on, the scarcity of certain years in different conditions combined with growing interest in the history of the Great Depression era keeps this coin in demand among collectors. In conclusion, the 1937 Abraham Lincoln Wheat. Penny without mint mark, in red color. Dirty condition is an intriguing coin with a rich history and continued collector interest. Though its mintage was relatively high, the coin still holds significant value due to its historical context, design features, and the potential for finding errors. Next up, we have the 1953 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny, another coin that may seem common at first glance, but holds hidden value, especially when we look at the specific condition and characteristics. This penny, in its large date variety, might not be as old as the 1939, but it still plays a significant role in the coin collecting world. Let's dive in. The 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny was produced during the final years of the Wheat penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. By this time, the United States Mint was in full swing, producing pennies in high numbers to accommodate the booming economy of the post-World War II era. Over 1,001,953 Lincoln Wheat pennies were minted. But again, it's not the mintage that defines the value, rather the condition, variety, and specific market trends that dictate how much collectors are willing to pay. Like all Lincoln Wheat pennies, the 1953 version features the beloved portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side, depicting two wheat stalks, represents the country's agricultural heritage. However, the 1953 large date variety is distinctive for its date numerals. Similar to the 1939, the digits of 1953 in the large date are more spread out and larger than those of the small date variety. The coin's dirty condition may affect its appearance, but it does not necessarily reduce its value drastically. Some collectors are willing to accept coins in less than perfect condition as long as the date and key features are still visible. Dirty condition typically refers to a coin that has some wear or dirt buildup from circulation, but hasn't been overly damaged or cleaned inappropriately. Many collectors see these coins as opportunities to restore them to their full potential, adding even more value. The value of a 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny in dirty condition is a bit more difficult to estimate, as it depends on factors like the level of dirt or tarnish, as well as how well the coin holds its design features. Generally speaking, a 1953 large date in dirty condition is worth less than one in a cleaner, better preserved state. On average, these coins typically sell for around $17,000 at auction. However, if the coin is particularly rare, such as having an error or a unique die variety, the market value could be higher. In better condition, or if professionally cleaned and graded, the coin could easily fetch between $21,000 or even more, depending on collector interest. The 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny, while not as valuable as some of the rarer coins from the 1909 to 1930 era, is still highly collectible. Collectors who focus on completing sets, or those who specialize in post-Spyhouse coins, often seek out varieties from the 1950s. While the 1953 large date is not a major error coin in and of itself, it does offer collectors an opportunity to obtain a key piece from a critical period in U.S. coinage history. Overall, while the 1953 large date in dirty condition may not fetch as much as its better preserved counterparts, it still holds an important place in any serious collector's collection. Its affordability makes it an excellent entry point for newer collectors looking to get their hands on a piece of American coinage history. Next up, the 1954 large date. Wheat penny with an S mint mark is an extremely important coin in the world of numismatics, primarily because of its unique combination of historical context, design features, and its increasing rarity and good condition. The Lincoln Wheat cent, which was minted from 1909 to 1958, was introduced as part of a new series that featured the image of President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. It was designed by the renowned sculptor Victor David Brenner, who was tasked with creating the coin's design. Brenner's portrait of Lincoln has become iconic and was eventually used on the U.S. penny until the introduction of the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. The 1954 coin is part of a later run in the Wheat Penny series and holds special significance for collectors. The key feature that sets the 1954 large date apart is the S mint mark. Mint marks are small letters that are stamped onto coins to indicate where they were produced. In the case of the 1954 Wheat Penny, the S refers to the San Francisco Mint, which struck these coins. Mint mark variations play an important role in determining the rarity and value of a coin, with S mint marks typically being rarer than coins minted in Philadelphia, which did not include a mint mark. The 1954 penny was minted during a period of post-World War II prosperity in the United States. After the war, the economy saw significant growth, and the demand for currency increased. The U.S. Mint had to keep up with the demand, resulting in the production of billions of coins throughout the 1950s. The 1954 issue was a part of this larger coinage process. However, because this particular coin has a relatively low mintage for its year and was produced at the San Francisco Mint, it became scarce over time, especially in higher grades. The 1954 large date is particularly interesting for collectors because of its unique design. The large date variety refers to the style in which the numbers 1 and 9 of the year were struck on the coin. The large date was produced for a limited period before being replaced with a smaller version, which makes the large date variety rarer and more desirable. This adds to the appeal of the 1954 large date wheat penny in good condition, as fewer of these were minted. The 1954 S mint mark wheat penny is not as common as some other years in the series, but it is by no means one of the rarest coins in the wheat penny collection. Despite the relatively high mintage, the demand for high-grade examples continues to push the value of these coins upward, especially those in good condition or higher. The value of a 1954 large-date wheat penny with an S mint mark in good condition can vary greatly depending on several factors, including its rarity, condition, and current market trends. In today's auction market, the 1954 large-date wheat penny, with an S mint mark in good condition, could fetch anywhere from $18,000 with higher quality coins being worth even more. However, in rare instances where a particularly well-preserved coin is discovered, the price can soar much higher. It's important to note that the market for collectible coins is always fluctuating, so prices can change over time based on demand, rarity, and other factors. Coins that are preserved well over time are often more valuable than those that show signs of wear and tear, which is why condition plays such an important role in determining their market price. One notable design feature of the 1954 large date variety is the way the numbers 1 and 9 of the year appear larger and more prominent compared to the smaller date variety. This larger size of the digits in the year helps distinguish this variety from other pennies minted that same year. Collectors are always on the lookout for any errors or unique features in coins that can enhance their value. While the 1954 S mint mark wheat penny is not particularly known for having major errors, there are some interesting variations and die errors that can add to the value of the coin. For example, if a coin has misstruck letters or a shifted die, this could significantly increase its value. Moreover, as more and more collectors become aware of the potential for coins, like the 1954 large date with the S mint mark, to appreciate in value over time, the demand for these coins has increased. With a limited number of these coins still in circulation and in good condition, it's clear that the 1954 large date wheat penny has become a prized possession for numismatists and collectors alike. Next up, the 1956 wheat penny. This coin is part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which was minted from 1909 to 1958. The series was introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it marked the first time a U.S. coin featured a real person's portrait, a bold move at the time. The obverse of the coin features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Lincoln, while the reverse showcases 2 stalks of wheat, hence the name Wheat Penny. The 1956 issue is particularly interesting because it was minted during a time of economic growth in the U.S. following World War II. This was also the last year before the design was slightly modified, making it a key date for collectors. The 1956 wheat penny had a massive montage of over 1.5 billion coins, making it one of the most common dates in the series. However, the value of this coin skyrockets when you consider its condition and variety. The large date variety, which we're focusing on today, is slightly rarer than the small date, and coins without a mint mark were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The absence of a mint mark indicates that this coin was minted in Philadelphia, which didn't use mint marks at the time. While millions were produced, finding one in pristine red condition is incredibly rare. So how much is this coin worth? Well, a typical 1956 wheat penny in circulated condition might only fetch a few cents. But in uncirculated red condition, this coin can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. For example, a 1956 wheat penny graded MS65 red by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC recently sold at auction for over 1,501 in MS, negative 67 red. You could be looking at a value of $50,000. The red color refers to the original copper luster, which fades over time due to oxidation and handling. Coins that retain this vibrant red hue are highly prized by collectors. The large date variety is distinguishable by the size and spacing of the numbers in the date. On the large date, the 9 and 5 are slightly taller and closer together compared to the small date variety. While the 1956 wheat penny isn't known for major errors, there are a few varieties that collectors look for. These include double dies, repunched mint marks, though rare for this date, and off-center strikes. Any of these errors can significantly increase the coin's value. For example, a 1956 wheat penny with a doubled die, obverse, could be worth several $100,000, depending on its condition. The 1956 wheat penny is a favorite among collectors for several reasons. First, it's one of the last issues of the wheat penny series, making it historically significant. Second, its availability in high grades makes it a great target for those building a top-tier collection. And finally, the potential for finding a rare red coin adds an element of excitement to the hunt. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the 1956 wheat penny is a coin worth keeping an eye out for. Who knows? You might just have a small fortune hiding in your pocket change. Next up, the 1944 Abraham Lincoln. Wheat penny, especially with D mint mark, is one of the most sought-after coins in the world of numismatics. Though it may seem like a humble penny at first glance, this particular piece carries immense historical significance and value in today's auction markets. In fact, its value can soar into the thousands of dollars, even in dirty, worn-out conditions, making it a target for collectors and investors alike. Philadelphia No Mint Mark 1 billion, 354 million, 400,000 coins. Denver D Mint Mark 430 million, 578,000 coins. San Francisco S Mint Mark 282 million, 760,000 coins. While the total mintage is quite large, particularly for the Philadelphia variety, the D Mint Mark variety is still in high demand for collectors. Even though over 400 million were minted, this coin stands out due to its association with the wartime period and its historical significance. However, it's important to note that while a large number of these coins were produced, finding them in pristine or uncirculated condition is extremely rare. Coins in lower grades, particularly those that are worn or dirty due to prolonged circulation, still carry considerable value due to their historical and numismatic significance. One of the aspects that make the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny particularly exciting for collectors is the presence of a number of error varieties, which can drive the value of the coin even higher. The most famous error variety associated with this coin is the 1944 steel penny. This rare mistake occurred when a small number of 1944 pennies were mistakenly struck on leftover steel planchets from the 1943 steel cent production. These steel pennies are exceptionally rare, and when found, they can fetch extraordinary prices at auction, often reaching upwards of $100,000 or more, depending on the condition of the coin. However, most of the 1944 pennies, including the 1944D variety, are not error coins and were struck using the standard copper composition. Still, the existence of these error pennies adds an element of intrigue for collectors, and it is often worth looking for any unusual characteristics in a 1944 penny that might indicate an error. Another factor that drives collector interest is the fact that the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny, particularly in lower grades, has a distinctive aged look due to its age and the widespread circulation it underwent. Coins that are considered dirty or heavily worn can still hold substantial value, especially if they come from a reputable source or a well-known collection. Collectors of the 1944 D penny will also take into account the specific condition of the coin, as the market values these coins based on their grade. Coins that are well preserved even in the lower dirty grades can command a significant premium compared to others that are in poor condition. While a 1944 D penny in dirty condition may not fetch the astronomical prices of a pristine, error-free coin, its value is still substantial, especially in the auction market. As of recent sales, a typical 1944 D penny in very fine condition can sell anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000, depending on the specific details of the coin. In lower grades with more wear and dirt buildup, the price can range from $50,000. However, for coins that are well worn, collectors still see value in them due to their historical context and significance in the overall Lincoln Wheat penny series. But don't be fooled. When a 1944 D penny is found in higher grades, it can easily reach several $100s in value. Coins in extra fine condition can sell anywhere from $55,000, and uncirculated examples can reach prices of $79,000 or more, depending on the quality and demand in the market. It's the dirty condition, or heavily worn coins that still hold some degree of collector interest because of the coin's inherent value, even if it has suffered from prolonged circulation. In the case of high-grade, uncirculated or error-free coins, such as the 1944 steel pennies or certain varieties with exceptional details, the value can rise dramatically, with auction sales reaching into the thousands of dollars. For example, a well-preserved 1944 D penny in MS-65 mint state condition recently sold at auction for over $48,000, while any example of the error-prone 1944 steel penny can easily fetch over $100,000 if the buyer is willing to pay that amount serious about adding it to their collection. Final thoughts on the 1944 D Wheat penny. To summarize, the 1944 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny with a D mint mark is a highly valuable coin with rich historical significance. While the coin may not seem extraordinary at first glance, its mintage, design, error varieties, and collector interest make it one of the most sought-after pennies in the numismatic world. Whether it's a well-worn, dirty example or a highly graded specimen, this coin will always attract collectors due to its place in U.S. history. Next up, we have the 1936 Wheat penny. This coin was minted during the Great Depression, a time when the U.S. economy was struggling and coin production was relatively low compared to other years. Despite the economic challenges, the 1936 Wheat penny remains a popular collectible due to its historical significance and unique characteristics. The 1930s were a tough time for Americans, but the Lincoln Wheat penny served as a small reminder of the nation's resilience. The design, which had been in use since 1909, was a symbol of stability during uncertain times. The 1936 Wheat penny had a mintage of just over 309 million coins, all struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Like the 1956 issue, this coin doesn't have a mint mark. While 309 million might sound like a lot, many of these coins were heavily circulated, making high-grade examples rare today. The absence of a mint mark indicates that this coin was also produced in Philadelphia. Despite the relatively high mintage, finding a 1936 Wheat penny in uncirculated condition is a challenge, which drives up its value. So what's this coin worth? In circulated condition, a 1936 Wheat penny might only be worth a few dollars. But in uncirculated condition, its value increases significantly. For example, a 1936 Wheat penny graded MS-65 recently sold at auction for over $200,000. Even in dirty or lightly circulated condition, this coin can still be worth a decent amount, especially if it has strong details and minimal wear. One thing to note about the 1936 issue is that it often has weaker strikes, particularly on Lincoln's cheek and the wheat stalks. This is due to the wear and tear on the dies used during production. The 1936 wheat penny is known for a few interesting varieties and errors. These include doubled dies, repunched mint marks, though rare for this date, and off-center strikes. One of the most notable varieties is the 1936 doubled die obverse, which features doubling on the date and lettering. This variety can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its condition. Another variety to look for is the 1936/S wheat penny, which was struck on a dime planche. These error coins are extremely rare and highly valuable. The 1936 wheat penny is a favorite among collectors for several reasons. First, its historical significance as a Depression-era coin makes it a fascinating piece of history. Second, its relatively low mintage compared to other years adds to its appeal. And finally, the potential for finding rare varieties or high-grade examples makes it a thrilling coin to hunt for. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the 1936 wheat penny is a coin that deserves a place in your collection. And who knows? You might just have a hidden gem in your pocket change, yo. Next up, the 1957 Abraham wheat penny, particularly the large date variety without a mint mark, holds a fascinating place in the world of American numismatics. While it may not be as well known as some other rare coins, its significance cannot be overstated. For coin collectors, this particular penny has a story that combines history, rarity, and a certain amount of mystery. By 1957, the wheat penny had undergone several changes, and the mint had moved to production of the coin under a different set of circumstances than those that surrounded its creation almost 5 decades earlier. The mid-20th century was a time of significant economic transformation in the United States as the country emerged from World War II and entered the Cold War era. The American economy was booming, and the coinage of the period was often reflective of this new era of prosperity. However, despite the growing wealth, pennies were still seen as essential to daily transactions, and the wheat cent remained in circulation. The 1957 wheat penny also has a distinct absence of a mint mark, which makes it a product of the Philadelphia Mint. Coins from Philadelphia are typically not marked with a mint mark, which makes them identifiable by their lack of a letter. Mint marks on pennies from other locations like Denver or San Francisco are marked with a D or S respectively. In terms of mintage, the 1957 wheat penny, both in the regular and large date varieties, was produced in large quantities by the U.S. Mint. The mintage of the 1957 penny was 1,035,161,000, which, in the context of coin collecting, might seem like a very high number. However, rarity isn't always tied to mintage. The 1957 large date penny is relatively scarce compared to its smaller date counterparts, and this scarcity is what drives its market value. The value of this penny can vary depending on several factors, such as condition, rarity, and collector interest. For most coins, being in mint or near mint condition increases their value significantly, and the 1957 large date penny is no exception. In a dirty condition, where the coin shows signs of heavy wear, tarnish, and dirt accumulation, the value may still be higher than you might expect. In the current auction market, a 1957 large date wheat penny in dirty condition can fetch anywhere between $15,000 depending on the extent of wear and the demand at the time. If cleaned or restored properly, the value of such a coin could rise substantially. However, collectors often prefer coins in their natural state, as cleaning can sometimes diminish the value of a coin by altering its patina. For collectors who are serious about the wheat penny series, the 1957 large date without a mint mark is a highly coveted item, even in less than pristine condition. It remains a popular choice in auctions and can command impressive prices depending on the specific details and the level of interest in the coin at the time of sale. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1957 Abraham wheat penny is the variety of errors and unusual characteristics that exist within the series. While most of these errors are more common in coins from earlier years, the 1957 penny is no stranger to the occasional flaw. For instance, some 1957 pennies exhibit what is known as a double die error, where the design on the obverse or reverse is duplicated due to a mistake in the die used to stamp the coin. This can result in an interesting and valuable variation of the coin. The double die error can often be spotted when the letters or numbers appear to be stacked or slightly offset, making them appear more pronounced. Finding a 1957 large date wheat penny with this error in dirty condition adds a whole new layer of value, as it is both a rare coin and a variant, with a flaw that collectors might find highly desirable. As with any error coin, the value can be influenced by its condition, rarity, and collector interest. In addition to doubled die errors, some 1957 pennies show signs of off-center strikes, or rim dings, further diversifying the coin's value. These imperfections can sometimes increase the worth of the coin due to their rarity and the unique nature of the error. The 1957 Abraham Wheat penny, large date, no mint mark variety, holds a special place in the hearts of many collectors. While the coin was produced in massive quantities, the combination of historical significance, design features, and scarcity make it a coin that is highly sought after. As demand for these pennies increases, it's likely that prices will continue to fluctuate, especially with the added appeal of error coins or those in high-quality condition. For collectors, owning a 1957 wheat penny, especially one in excellent condition or with unique characteristics, offers both historical and monetary value. As always, the value of a coin is not only determined by its mintage, but also by the passion and interest of the numismatic community. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny is one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. But what makes the one without a mint mark, especially in rusty condition, particularly intriguing to collectors? Let's explore all of its features, history, and value. The 1945 Lincoln penny was minted in large numbers. In fact, more than 1.1 billion of these pennies were struck that year. However, here's the key distinction. The 1945 coin without a mint mark was minted in Philadelphia, the only mint at the time that didn't use a mint mark to signify its production location. Now, while 1.1 billion sounds like a lot of coins, the ones that survive today, especially in rusty or worn conditions, are far fewer. When you consider how many pennies were circulated, lost, or damaged over time, it's easy to see why a coin in any kind of decent condition is harder to find. And when we talk about rust or corrosion, that can drastically affect the coin's aesthetic appeal, but doesn't always diminish its market value, especially in the case of rare issues. Now, let's talk about the big question. How much is this coin worth in today's market, especially in rusty condition? Though it might seem counterintuitive, the 1945 Lincoln penny without a mint mark can still fetch quite a bit of money at auction, even in less than perfect conditions. A penny that's rusted or has visible corrosion is often sold at a higher price compared to those in pristine condition. But don't be fooled. Some of these coins, despite their rust, are still extremely sought after by collectors. In 2021, a 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny in fair to good condition sold for anywhere between $30,000 depending on the rust and the coin's overall state. Coins that have been maintained or cleaned, showing less wear and rust, can reach upwards of $40,000. But here's the interesting part. A rusty 1945 Lincoln without a mint mark could still command more money if it has unique error characteristics or a particularly rare die variety. Coins in poor or fair condition, including those with rust, are often sold in bulk for low prices at local coin shops or auction houses. But the high demand for vintage coins means that even these pennies can gain value over time. Some collectors are specifically looking for worn or corroded coins to complete their sets or to have examples of all stages of wear in their collection. Let's take a closer look at why rusty pennies, like the 1945 Lincoln, are still valuable. Typically, rust and corrosion occur when coins are exposed to moisture or harsh environmental conditions. This can happen if a coin is left in an area with high humidity, or if it's exposed to salty air or water. Over time, this corrosion eats into the surface of the coin, often making it less visually appealing. But interestingly, Coins in this condition are often valued differently based on the rarity of the particular coin and the collector's interest in that coin. While rust may lower the value slightly, it doesn't always dramatically change the overall worth of the coin, especially when you consider its rarity. The truth is, rust or not, these 1945 Lincoln Wheat pennies without a mint mark are still highly collectible, especially if they are in original, uncleaned condition. The rust adds to the character of the coin, telling a story of how it has traveled through time and survived nearly a century in circulation. One of the most fascinating aspects of collecting pennies from this era is the potential for errors. While the 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny is not particularly known for striking errors, collectors still keep an eye out for interesting varieties that could make a coin more valuable. Errors in mintage, such as double strikes, misalignments, or incorrect die use, can make a particular coin worth far more than its face value. For example, if your 1945 Lincoln penny has a misstruck image or a doubling of the date or words, you could be looking at a coin worth several times more than a regular example, even if the penny is rusted or corroded. To give you an example, in 2018, a 1945 penny with a misaligned die sold for over $34,000 at auction. Though this is a rare occurrence, it shows that even a worn-out rusty coin can hold incredible value if it has any sort of minting defect. So what makes the 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny, without a mint mark in rusty condition, so valuable? It's a combination of rarity, historical significance, and the growing demand for vintage coins. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting your coin journey, the 1945 Lincoln penny is an essential coin to keep an eye out for. Next up, we have the 1944 S large date wheat penny. This coin is a true gem in the world of numismatics, and for good reason. Let's start with its historical context. The year 1944 was a pivotal time in American history. World War II was raging, and the U.S. Mint was under pressure to produce coins efficiently while conserving resources. During this time, the Mint transitioned from using steel to bronze for penny production, as copper became more readily available again. This shift makes the 1944 wheat penny particularly interesting to collectors. Now, let's talk about the mintage. The San Francisco Mint produced 282,760,000 wheat pennies in 1944. While this might seem like a large number, the large date variety is significantly rarer. The large date is distinguished by its bold, prominent numbers in the date, especially the 4. This variety is highly sought after, especially in higher grades. But what makes this coin so valuable? Well, it's a combination of rarity, historical significance, and collector demand. In dirty condition, even a well-worn 1944 S large date wheat penny can fetch $58,000 at auction. However, if you're lucky enough to find one in uncirculated condition, the value skyrockets to $78,000 or more. Let's take a closer look at the design. The obverse features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has been a staple of the penny since 1909. The reverse showcases the classic wheat stalks, symbolizing prosperity and abundance. The large date variety is particularly notable for its bold, clear numerals. The 4 in the date has a distinct serif at the top, making it easily identifiable. This small detail is what sets it apart from the more common small date variety. While the 1944 S large date is already rare, there are a few errors and varieties that can make it even more valuable. One such variety is the 1944 S steel wheat penny. These were accidentally struck on leftover steel planchets from 1943, and they're incredibly rare. If you find one, you could be looking at a coin worth $79,000 or more. Another error to look out for is double die obverse. This occurs when the die strikes the coin twice, creating a slightly blurred or doubled image. These errors are highly prized by collectors and can significantly increase the coin's value. The 1944 S large date wheat penny is a favorite among collectors for several reasons. Its historical significance ties it to a critical period in American history, and its rarity makes it a challenging and rewarding find. For those looking to add this coin to their collection, it's important to pay attention to the condition. Even in dirty or circulated condition, it holds significant value. But if you can find one in mint state, you've got a true treasure on your hands. Next up, we have the 1942 large-date wheat penny without a mint mark. This coin is another key player in the world of Lincoln wheat pennies, but it has some unique characteristics that make it highly sought after. Unlike the 1954 coin, which had an S mint mark indicating it was minted in San Francisco, the 1942 coin was minted in Philadelphia, which did not include a mint mark. Despite the lack of a mint mark, this coin is significant because of the historical events surrounding its creation and the fact that it is part of a tumultuous period in U.S. history. The year 1942 was a pivotal moment in American history. The United States was deeply involved in World War II, and the economy was shifting dramatically. In response to the war, the U.S. Mint made adjustments to its coinage production, and the general public was more focused on war-related matters rather than everyday transactions. The demand for pennies during this period was high, but the actual mintage numbers from the Philadelphia Mint were substantial. However, because many of these coins were circulated heavily during wartime, they did not survive in pristine condition. This makes the 1942 large-date wheat penny, without a mint mark, in fine condition particularly valuable, as it is rarer in higher-grade examples. The 1942 wheat penny without a mint mark was produced in significant numbers, but it is still highly collectible today. When we talk about the value of the 1942 large-date wheat penny in fine condition, we are typically referring to a coin that is relatively well-preserved with noticeable wear, but still retains key design details. In today's auction market, a 1942 large-date wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition could be worth anywhere from $4 to $10. If the coin is in excellent condition or displays exceptional features, the value could rise to $30 or more. The relatively low price compared to the 1954 S Mint coin can be attributed to the higher mintage numbers and the widespread circulation of the 1942 penny, which means fewer high-quality examples have survived. The 1942 large date wheat penny shares the same basic design as other wheat pennies. The obverse features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and the reverse side depicts two stalks of wheat. The 1942 coin is unique for its date. The large date variety is characterized by the large 1 and 9, which stand out more than in the small date version. This stylistic change was part of a series of modifications made during the 1940s to create more distinct date representations. The absence of a mint mark on the 1942 coin places it in a slightly different category than its S mint-marked counterparts, making it more identifiable as a Philadelphia minted coin. The 1942 large date wheat penny is relatively free from major minting errors. However, there are instances where the coin's die may have experienced some wear, causing minor inconsistencies in the coin's strike. Collectors also look for unusual patinas or other features that could enhance the rarity of the coin. While these pennies are not as rare as some of their counterparts, they still hold great appeal for collectors due to their historical significance, design features, and the ongoing interest in wartime coinage. Thanks for watching this episode of Rare Pennies. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more detailed coin analysis. Let us know in the comments if you own any of these valuable pennies or if there's another coin you'd like us to explore.